I was always very timid with my talents. It was kind of like the typical, like, I'm gonna sing in my room to myself and hide myself.
Hello, my name is Bele Maluenda, and this is the Indie Seat.
So yeah, it's all these things.
Ryan B, thank you so much for joining us here in the Indie Seat. So nice to have you. You look very sharp. How would you describe your sound to someone who's never heard it before?
I have a lot of different musical influences, and of course, like, depending on the song, different artists get brought out more because I'm usually inspired by specific songs or albums. I've recently experienced a surge of classic rock. I've just been listening to a lot of classic rock. It's always good to go back to the roots of everything, of rock and roll and pop music, because at the end of the day, it's all pop music, and with an edge to it, The track that I have on Spotify is Never Let Go. That's definitely your like early 2000s, like pop punk, like, the Green Day, What You Said. I love Green Day. So I became inspired to become a performer watching Green Day perform. The 2009 VMAs, to be specific.
Okay.
That like performance did it for me. I was like, they played this song called East Jesus Nowhere, and they got everybody up on stage, and they were like moshing, and it was insane. And I was like, what? I want to do that. I want to be in a band. And so.
Would you say that was the moment where you kind of fell in love with the idea of being a musician?
Yeah, definitely. Like a performer, I was always very timid with my talents. It was kind of like the typical, like, I'm gonna sing in my room to myself and and hide myself, and once I saw that performance, I was like, no, I gotta do this. I gotta get my guys together. And the first time we actually the first time I ever performed on a stage was a Green Day song.
Which one?
It was what's her name?
Okay.
Yeah. That song it's something we decided on, and we won second place. But
okay.
And it's funny because the other band that played Green Day as well. They played American Idiot. So it was like Green Day has always been a part of me, throughout the years.
How would you describe your creative process? You have all these influences, all these inspirations. How do you actually go about putting it all together?
So, music, in my opinion, throughout the years has just been the process of inspiration, right? So of borrowing, obviously in a healthy manner, right? Not like completely copying, rather than, like I said, drawing inspiration. And so, I'll take a song like, I don't know, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, and I'll sit down and I'll say, well, I want to emulate something like that. And then the musical process starts to develop there, where I'll come up with a chord progression or something similar in that style, and then sometimes the melody comes first, sometimes the lyrics come first, and it's really just dependent on the song itself.
So you're creating a lot of your own music, but you're also involved in several different projects.
I actually play guitar for a local Miami artist, Chris Rojas. Mm-hmm. Shout out to him. I'm also involved in a new project that has yet to really debut. There's no music out. There's like a SoundCloud, but like that's not really like official yet. You know what I mean? There hasn't. I just joined the band as a singer. They're called Concrete King, and that I would say is a little outside of my comfort zone in a good way. They're heavily inspired by Deep Purple, so like that classic rock. So I have that in me. I just gotta like bring it out, I fronted a band in 2015, around that years like 2015, 2014, called Quantum Waves, and they were an alternative prog kind of band. And so that was my first experience with being a frontman. And being a frontman versus being a frontman with a guitar, it's like, or any instrument whatsoever, it's a totally different approach. I mean, you're still putting on a performance, but there's a different way of presentation.
Would you say it's more vulnerable when you don't have your guitar?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I get a little self-conscious, I'm not gonna lie, because you got to worry about, like, am I dancing, am I walking, am I running, jumping, what am I doing, it's more self-conscious. There's a lot more awareness going on because you're not, the guitar and the piano, because I play piano as well, it's like a crutch, but I'm not gonna say it's a crutch because I love doing it, you know what I mean?
Not so much a crutch.
It's not a crutch.
The source of your power.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that necessarily I'm afraid of being a frontman. It's just more like I feel comfortable, I think. Yeah, that's more of my comfort zone, being behind an instrument. I feel like a totally different person on stage. It's like almost like it's an alter ego, and that mixed with the reception of the audience becomes the perfect marriage of just musical ecstasy, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, it's great,
You've just signed with TMG, and I've heard you have an EP coming out in early 2021.
Yes.
That's in the early stages?
Yes, early stages, yes. So, actually, just hit the studio, like, today. That will be the inception of my first EP, so 4-song EP, and that I believe will be the next stepping stone in my career, with the help of TMG. So TMG, a little bit about them. TMG is basically John Tovar, and John Tovar was Marilyn Manson's original manager. It's really an honor to be, working alongside someone like that with that much experience. And, he also worked with artists like, the Mavericks and Nuclear Valdez, which was like a big rock band to come out of Miami. He also worked with an 80s band, Expose. With his help and, the TMG team, we're going to just present it to the world and, kind of take a chance, see what happens, hopefully.
What's the mentality behind that EP? Like, is there like a story behind it? Is it just tracks that you've been working on for a while that you're trying to finally put together? What was the mental frame of mind behind it?
I guess presenting a more complete catalog of songs to kind of give people a better idea of who I am as an artist. And I think it goes back to the idea of the debut. I feel like I am still developing as an artist. There's definitely a concrete idea of who I am, my identity as a performer and composer. But the EP is gonna like solidify it for the general public.
So you said you have already a very concrete idea of what your identity is, what your sound is. Do you have a personal philosophy as well that kind of ties it all together?
I want to say 3 things that are important themes in Ryan B's my music. I don't know why I'm talking in the third person, but whatever. 3 main themes that I would say that I write about are love, self-advocacy, like positivity, mental health, all that stuff, and just overall turning life around. And I think those are really important things to me that I want to emulate in my music as much as I can.
I think the one word that I would use to describe what I've heard so far is that it is very positive and life-affirming. So you've said that these are things that you would like to transmit through your music. Do you think that artists have a responsibility to touch upon these kinds of things, to present themselves as role models for people who listen or people who see them, or even to touch on social issues? Do you think that is a responsibility that artists have? Absolutely.
I think we as artists are put at the forefront of what other people are not talking about, or are afraid to say or need to hear and stuff like that. Like you said, we're the role models. We are the example, and I think that is extremely important, for sure.
I think a lot of people have realized that art has so much more merit than we normally give it credit for. That it's not just entertainment. It's not just something we do in our free time. It gives people a voice in a lot of ways. I think that's why it's so important for artists to be vulnerable and to do things like what you're doing and to have things that are particularly life affirming.
My name is Ryan B, and you can find me on Instagram at RyanBOfficial, and I have all my links to all my social media websites on there, so make sure to check that out, Ryan B Official. Thank you so much.
I wanted to thank our producers, Context of a Generation. My name is Bele Maluenda. You can find me on Instagram as Belumalu Arts, that's BELUMALU, or at belumalu.com. And thank you so much for joining us here on The Indie Seat.
So that was the Indie Seat. If you like what you saw and you want to be a partner, or if you want to collaborate with us, even if you're an artist and you want to submit your work, check out our website, contextofageneration.org, or go ahead and submit an email to us at submit@contextofageneration.org. And for all the artists, make sure you put your name, your social media handles, and attach some of your work as well. And for those who are interested in being a partner or collaborating, please email us and we would love to reach back out. Peace. That was the Indie Seat. Thank you.